I'm writing this memoir in 2200 BCE in the Republic of Thailand. This might be written in your future, past, or present, but from whichever period you're reading this, it does matter. In my time, we are moving backward due to the destruction of the environment by us humans. Almost no trees can grow and no flowers can bloom on our polluted land. These multifaceted issues take us backward in every aspect, including gender equity. Before this, there was almost an equity among us. Men, women, non-binary, queer. After the pollution crisis, we start crawling back to what we used to be in the past. The binarized patriarchal world, where violence starts flowing from top to bottom. Women are now seen again as the reproducers of labor. Men are deemed as the saviors. Gender non-conforming people are forced to conform. As a historian of Thai descent, I'm delving into the past and learning from hidden histories. To understand the present, to seize this ugly loop. When I was researching artifacts from before the Great Pollution, I came across the antique craft called Malai. The word Malai itself originally meant flowers in Thai. I only know them from the old textbooks that they are meticulous sculptures made of fresh flowers or flower petals, which we no longer have in our era. These flowers are woven together in different forms and used for various purposes, be it ritual, religious, or paying respect to someone with higher authority. The more I dug deeper, the more I found out that Malai wasn't just a craft. It was once partly a representation of class, monarchy, and gender binary. Malai reflected on how Thai women were expected to be in the past, which somehow connects to how we humans and the constructed society look at nature and her flowers. Fragile, fertile, delicate, honorable, silent, caring, complicated, and having no agency. But no matter how intrigued I was by the object, it was difficult to find more information about it. As our land has lost its ability to be fertile, the knowledge of weaving Malai faded through time. But as the old saying goes, sometimes things are just around the corner. One day I went back to my grandmother's house. In an old sewing box, I found a collection of strange photos, images of objects suspected to be Malai. So I brought them back home with me. Then later that night, around 3 a.m., I woke up and I felt an odd energy emanating from the desk I had left those photos on. When I walked there, the photos were floating in the air. The atmosphere just suddenly changed. Everything around me turned into black. I had traveled back in time, back into those photos. I had become those women behind the Malais, a young girl school student who came across the harsh truth of how the binarized world expected her to be during her Malai making class, or a young lady who was weaving Malai to pray for her sister, whom she later found killed and sexually assaulted during the student massacre. These are not stories of heroes we are familiar with, but rather ordinary stories of women who try to live, aspired, protest, and live once again. Sometimes I try to convince myself that it was probably all a dream, a delusion of my overreactive imagination. But it was too clear, too real, and too personal. In my disbelief, I even requested a permit to see an old civil registration document that contained a citizen name list from years ago. And there was no doubt that these women were real, and they were closer to me than I could have ever thought. They were my great-great-great and great-great-grandmothers I had never known before. and they were part of who I am today. It's tragic how stories not told by men or personal history faded from generation to generation. With these limited archives, I try to weave, collage, and redraw the remaining photos from this era to narrate the stories of the past I experienced. Thus, I am weaving these experiences into this memoir as a tribute to all the women I have ever known. For us, women, queer, and allies, to collect, remember, reserve, question, and keep on rebelling. แด่ผู้หญิงทุกคนที่ฉันรู้จักและระลึกถึง